Hello everyone, Saturday afternoon footy at the Adelaide Oval. Beautiful day to be in Adelaide for the Crows and the Saints. Old scoreboard just over there. Jack Odie, Gavin Wanganeen, famous South Australians. This patch of turf fast becoming known as the Eddie Betts pocket. He's in career best form, 51 goals last year as a Crow, already 20 this season, and a lot of them threaded through from right here.
They seek him here.
Eddie Betts, one-on-one, Eddie!
They seek him there.
Oh, line it up, Eddie! Line it up, Eddie!
But Eddie Betts is everywhere.
They needed a hero. We might have found one.
Eddie's in career best form.
The spin, the kick.
He's scintillating.
The delightful Eddie Betts at his best.
With 20 goals already this season, he's the pocket dynamo the St Kilda defenders must shut down. But the Saints' confidence is high after last Saturday's breathtaking comeback against the Bulldogs, when they stormed back from a 55-point deficit.
The Saints have got up off the canvas.
With their growing resolve and spirit, the St Kilda players believe they can do anything.
An unlikely but heroic win.
But playing the Crows at Adelaide Oval is a monstrous hurdle to overcome. And how do the Saints curb the ever-destructive Eddie Betts?
Hello everybody and welcome to Saturday afternoon football. The Adelaide Crows hosting the Saints. Good afternoon to you, Tim. It's been cold and wet in Melbourne. Perfect here.
The day is just absolutely glorious here in Adelaide. There's a lot of sunshine around. It's going to be difficult maybe for the players to pick up the fly of the ball at different stages this afternoon, but the conditions are absolutely perfect for footy.
Crows 4-2. There is a lot of expectation in this town. They will play finals if they are going to. It's a must-win today. Toyota keys to the game. I think you're looking forward.
Well, I think you are, and I think there's one bloke in particular. We've already seen a little bit of it. Eddie Betts is a superstar small forward of this game. He's averaged over 40 goals a season for the last 5 years. It's one of the more difficult positions to play on the ground. He's got great speed, he's got great agility, he's got great reflexes, great instincts, and he's one bloke that just needs to be watched. He's actually gone past Walker this year. He's kicked 20 goals, Walker's kicked 18, and he definitely needs to be stopped today. Maybe Dempster will get first crack at him.
Second in the column behind Josh Kennedy, so much to look forward to with Eddie. Let's go downstairs. A wonderful day. Andrew Welsh alongside Mark Soderstrom. Be nice for the forwards, Welshie.
Well, thanks, Hammer. Last week in Hobart, Saturday Arvo, we had snow in the horizon. So does nothing but sunshine today. Really a day that's built for your power forwards, and one of those young power forwards for the Saints is Joshy Bruce.
Well, he's been magnificent, hasn't he? He's kicked the 18 goals from his 6 games so far this year. We know he played most of his footy in defence for GWS. The Saints threw him up forward last year, and he looked pretty handy. I know Alan Richardson loves his athleticism. Had some problems with his shin late last year, which ended his season. This year he's been fantastic. Bagged 6 against the Suns and did all right against your old mob a couple of weeks ago too. Welsh, he kicked 5 there as well. Probably provides a good matchup for maybe a Jake Lever in just his second game, which would leave Talia for revolt. But expect, I think, the Saints to maybe even rotate Hickey through there just to stretch that defence of Adelaide.
Well, they really are dangerous, those players that can kick goals quickly. One of those for Adelaide is Patrick Dangerfield. We're looking for him to step up today in the absence of Rory Sloane, but we were lucky enough in the pre-season to tag along and share in one of Danger's other passions in fishing.
I went away with my fiancée Marty last year. We went to New Zealand, we toured around the North Island and we fished Lake Taupo. That was a different sort of fishing, it's fly fishing, so you're almost hunting the fish with the way that you're looking for them, so that's a pretty special catch.
Oval, it's an amazing venue. Crowd gets right into it there and it feels like you're really close to them. They said they've got a young list and so it'll be pretty unpredictable. Clearly their new skipper, Taylor's a man that you've got to stop.
Taylor Walker! Skywalker!
I usually line up on Nick Riewoldt, so it's always a tough day for me. I know I've got to get my running shoes on because they go through him a lot. He's their captain, he's their best player. He's someone that's incredibly hard to stop. Daniel Talia, I would assume, would be given that responsibility, but it's a team responsibility in stopping someone like that. Blokes like Eddie Betts, they've got quite a strong forward line.
They've got a lot of upcoming young guys, which are very talented kids. In a few years' time, I'm tipping they'll be on the climb up the ladder.
Well, welcome everybody to Saturday afternoon football. Welcome to Adelaide Oval. It is a wonderful autumn afternoon and the Saints are full of confidence after an extraordinary come from the Clouds win against the Western Bulldogs. 2 laid outs. Jaron Geary, about 45 minutes ago when the team sheets came through, is out, and in came Cam Shenton. And Lee Montagna, a very laid out. You'll see him named at half forward. He has just come out in the last couple of minutes, and as a result, Eli Templeton comes in for his second game of the year. So a little disruption late, Tim, to a side that they were hoping to have unchanged from last weekend.
Yeah, they're very good in that second half, as we know, last week, and both experienced players too, in Geary and Montagna, are both leaders out there as well.
Well, the Crows, another very healthy crowd here in Adelaide, and just hearing the players from the Saints as we came back from the break saying how much they enjoy playing here. We know the MCG is the home of football, but quite possibly right now this is the most popular ground in football to come and enjoy as a spectator, and well, the players enjoy playing here. Wonderful surface. Ricky Henderson, he comes in for Rory Sloane. So the Crows injury list continues to grow. Podsiadly, Jenkins, Otten, Douglas, Brad Crouch, Cam Ellis-Yolman, and now Rory Sloane. Watch on, Tim. Their depth will be tested.
Yeah, it's already been tested, and they're a bit skinny down back as well. They've got a couple of kids down there. Lever, who was very good last week, and also Jake Kelly, an inexperienced player. And I think that's the area of the ground that the Saints will really target. I'm expecting Revolt to move up the ground and take Talia with him and make it even less experienced down there, and then just try and expose them with their lack of height.
Well, Jake Lever, terrific last week. Jake Kelly comes in game 5, son of Ned Kelly, who played so much with the Pies. But so does, if we can come down to you, firstly, any breeze to worry about. Looks like a wonderful day, but also Jake Lever, there's a nice story.
Michelle, look, a very, very still day down here. It's magnificent, the Adelaide Oval, and great Nick. And Jake Lever came in last week. He's pretty good. He had his 17 touches and looked pretty impressive. But the thing with Lever, let's have a look at this picture here. There is Jake Lever, 1996, just a young man, only a few days old there with Paul Roos. I know Jake's dad, Alan, is a mad South Melbourne / Sydney fan from the old days. And Jake Lever, of course, well, he's not in the red and white, but he's doing wonderful things for the Crows. And he's pretty handy in a boxing ring too, Hammer, both he and his dad, so don't pick a fight with that man.
Well, I'll make sure he has a terrific game regardless of how it plays out for Jake Lever. So the boy from Romsey, Crows have got a couple of Jakes. The Saints have got 5 Jacks, so it'll be an interesting afternoon for this Saints outfit. So brilliant last week against the odds. It looked so improbable for most of the afternoon, and suddenly it became possible. Then a couple of early goals in the final term looked unlikely again. They were winners last round. Can they be winners again this afternoon? We'll find out on the other side. Bounce. It's the Crows hosting the Saints.
They want to get my gold on the ceiling. Hey, come on, Joey. Come on, Jack. March them inside. Go, Saints. Go, St. Kilda. Go, Rui. Come on, Saints.
So St Kilda making their way towards the latter stages of their warm-up. Interesting. It'd look nice on the stage, actually. They're all lined up together like a chorus line. If you wanted to write the definition of beautiful day, Tim, I think you'd just take a photo of what we can see here and put it in the dictionary, because it's hard to imagine a better day than this.
It is a spectacular day here in Adelaide. And I don't know about you, though, but I don't know whether...
All right, when you're ready, Nick, your call. Heads. And it's tails. Thanks, guys.
I never actually enjoyed playing in sunny days like today. I always found it more difficult to play on a day like today. I like a little bit of cloud cover.
We love commentating on days like today, that's for sure. Andrew Welsh on the boundary. He'd love it as well. Hi, Welshie.
Would have made me look twice as slow, so I liked it was a bit wet and muddy, but it is fantastic conditions out here. I think we're going to see a lot of contests though. Phil Walsh, very much the philosophy, wants to win the ground ball, doesn't want to get those free entries into the St Kilda forward line because they are too tall for him up there. We see Montagna going out of the side late. We believe it's tight in the hamstring and also Geary. So Templeton and Shelton, the local boy from Adelaide, comes in for the Saints as the starting sub, and also Lyons is the starting sub for the Crows.
The tweet from the St Kilda Football Club on Montagna is that he actually heard it during the warm-up. So he was okay when he got here today, but experienced some discomfort during the warm-up.
I noticed him watching Montagna in the warm-up. He had tracksuit pants on when he came out, kept them on the whole time. So perhaps he was cautious, but he obviously wasn't comfortable at any real stage. And as a result, Templeton comes in for Montagna and Shenton for Geary.
Sam Fisher there on screen. He's had another marvellous season. In fact, their defence works really well together. I reckon they're going to try and stretch this Adelaide Crow defence right from the word go. We see Hickey making his way forward. Revolt will go forward. He'll push up probably a little bit higher, try and drag Talia out of there and leave Bruce and Hickey really deep as a pair for the Adelaide Crows defence, which is just undersized to be able to combat. Cheney's going to have to go to one of those tall players.
A hard place for visitors to come and go home with the points, but we saw it last week on this very ground. Port Adelaide beaten by the West Coast Eagles. Umpires today, Curtis Du Bois, Jason Armstrong and Troy Pennell. Saturday afternoon football. And we are underway. Adelaide 5th, 4-2, St Kilda 14th.
Sam Jacobs up early, just here, time.
2-4 the Saints, and Adelaide equal with 5 other teams at the start of this round. Short to Thompson, the free kick. Came from the big ruckman Jacobs, well done. Gathered cleanly, handball off. As Dempster did nicely, used Delaney, got the football back. Weller over the football, taken high by Van Berlo, free kick.
Yep. Thanks, Nathan, just there. Play on.
You're right, Tim. We see Rewalt's pushed right up the ground. Taylor has gone to him, but Cheney, he's got a big task ahead of him. He's going to man Bruce for today.
So Webster got the footy quickly, and a long kick towards Hickey. Hickey pushing back down deep. Longer and Jacobs it is to do the ruck work. Longer worked his way in front, then Jacobs, superior strength, just bashing the football away. Tough one to win midfield. The Crows have worked that nicely. A couple of sets of hands, and Talia on the end of it very quickly. So they can move the football quickly. Tough ball towards the wing. The All-Australian Brodie Smith did brilliantly. Found the footy on the ground, then reached over Longer. Got in the road, got a little handball away. It was all right. And now St Kilda kick to Revolt. Up the wing from Fisher is good.
So the old guard, Fisher to Revolt, and then to the best and fairest in Stephen. Little fumble to Schneider inside 50. The Saints perhaps get the first score of the afternoon.
And that's what happened last week in that second half against the Western Bulldogs. Revolt pushed up the ground, and it just created all sorts of space behind him.
Bruce gets a little space, and Billings runs into open territory, and Billings was a mastermind behind the revival. 3 of his 4 goals came in the last term. Can he get the first of the afternoon? The lefty with a little stutter. The local crowd tells you the story. Didn't hit it well at all. Tim, just to your comment earlier in regard to the sunshine, it's difficult for the Saints forwards leading north on this ground in the first term. Into the sun, not a lot of cloud cover as Jench chooses himself as the best option initially.
Away he goes then, long kick, Delaney up in front, well done. Handball quickly to Stevens. Plays on very quickly through the middle, Nunes, Van Berlo, and it's 50. Wow.
You want to take it down, Jace? Let's take it down.
Well, I guess we saw a couple early last week. The game down in Hobart. Just the contact, I guess, unnecessary.
Thanks, boys. Run out, please.
Still, does seem pretty excessive, doesn't it?
There it is, thanks.
It's a big penalty.
So Jack Nunes hasn't kicked a goal this season. From directly in front, he's got the first of the game.
There's a kick inside again, and there's a contact. Just a little bit late there by Van Berlo. We've seen things like that let go in the past, but obviously that's not going to be the way this afternoon that it's adjudicated.
So 3 of the Jacks getting involved early, and now Armitage, who's had a wonderful season. Scrubbing sort of a kick. Billings, brilliant. Fired the handball back inside. Weller, hurried kick forward. Well, Hickey had it, lost it, goes again. Driving on by was Loney. Dunstan just knocked out of the way. The Crows. McKay, well, Talia took a long time. Suddenly Weller can go at the football. Hot to handle. Talia quickly to Dangerfield. Now Henderson, who's come in for Sloane, thumps the ball long. Out the back, the skipper. Here's a chance for Walker. Back inside, a runner who loves to run. McKay quickly, top of the square. Long ball. Offline, Crows' first score. It was Van Berlo, in fact. Apologies to McKay. Revolt quickly, back inside to Armitage.
So Armitage over the top to Revolt, coming off a career-high 45 disposals last week. David Armitage, Nunes, who's kicked the goal already. Tough one here. How hard was that? Loney coming one way, and he's down and still in a lot of pain. You could hear the hit in the effects, Mike. Dangerfield, meanwhile, goes quickly. Nunes got Talia. He got the kick away just in time, but getting back Robertson.
Well, Welshie, that was right in front of you. Did you hear it from where you were?
Yeah, that was a big collision, boys, but the young guy shows his toughness straight off the ground. He's taking a bit of breath in here, but he'll be fine. He's a tough young kid.
Dunstan now, McKay, and here's Lynch. He lowers the eyes and through the hands of the skipper. Well, how about that, Delaney? Just dishing the football off, and the clearing kick is going to be okay.
Yes.
Armitage inside, Weller, strong hands in front of Jacobs. But where's Revolt? Where's he doing his work at the moment? Deep inside 50 is Bruce, the only player in that territory. Hickey in front, Talia, roving, doing a good job. Mackenzie went to handball, Lever, corralled him back inside to Jack Stephen. Now over the top, chance for Templeton. Well, a maybe ball for Bruce becomes a certainty. Strong hands, top of the square. What a target he's become. This for goal 19 for the season, equal fourth coming in.
That's it now, straight back.
Strong body. Couple of youngsters having a crack at each other.
That's a great kick there too.
On the mark, thanks, boys.
Got a nice pair of hands, Josh Bruce.
Hasn't he? A forward in the under-18s, a defender at the Giants, and now for goal 19 for the season. Saints have got their second. They skip away.
So a terrific start by St Kilda. 2 goals their way. The Adelaide Crows just behind. Ferocious opening. They've finished this game the way they've started this game, rather the way they finished the last. Eddie Betts, quick kick forward. Well done, Savage. In front of Wright, and he marks and plays on quickly. Wants to go to the outer side.
Thanks, Patrick.
Fisher has the footy. So it started really well, Tim, haven't they?
Yeah, they have, and already one of Adelaide's recent problems is evident, and that is their inability to be able to convert their inside 50s into scores. They've gone inside 5 times. The last one was a really shallow entry, but they still haven't got a goal on the board.
Longer drifting across, took a good grab. Hickey was the last man to arrive. Templeton was there as well. Thompson did well, got the ball to Henderson. Lever, back to Thompson. Good tackle. Lingering from Bruce. It'll come in.
That's going to be a great battle too between Armitage and Thompson. They're sort of matched up at the moment. They're not tagging each other, but they're actually watching each other at these stoppages. Armitage has been in sparkling form.
So Jacobs, so often the Lone Ranger for the Crows. No clear win for either of the tall timber there. Jacobs has it sent in his direction. Suddenly to Henderson, back inside Crouch. Jacobs under pressure. Saints have been attacking the man in the football beautifully in the early minutes of this first term. So the Saints, the first couple of goals, Dempster looks at Revolt. Revolt doubles back. Hickey provides the second lead. Now it's back to the skipper.
There's just a bit of uncertainty about this Adelaide Crows defence at the moment. Revolt pushing up the ground. They're playing a couple of smalls down there. Billings, we know that he's a very lively player as well. The 2 talls, it's just keeping them guessing, but they're getting far too much ball between the arcs as well at the moment, St Kilda, and starting to control some of those stoppages, and that's putting extra pressure on the back 6.
So the Saints, third mark inside 50. It won't get the journey. Big pack out the back. Hickey at the front. The Saints have got 3.
I love it when you see big blokes like this. There you go. Really wasn't able to influence the contest. Smart enough to get it ground level and snap it around the shoulder. And great start by the Saints.
So they lead it by 3 goals. It is a fantastic start. Over the footy was Dunstan, got pushed off it. Comes out Smith's way. Now Brown, he needs to be careful. Templeton got him. Good tackle.
Straight back.
I think we've seen 3 or 4 tackles already from St Kilda players coming from behind like that. They just want to stay around the contest, and that's what coaches preach all the time to players. If you can influence the contest, keep moving inside the contest to try and influence it.
Eli Templeton, the Tasmanian, just his second game, and in the end an anti-climax up forward. Jake Kelly drifting across. Takes a good mark. The kick not so good though. Bruce, he's there. Here's Stephen. Lowers the eyes again. Very good kick. Weller marks. They'll have another shot on goal here for their fourth goal inside the first 12 minutes of play.
That's the fourth mark they've taken inside their attacking 50. At the other end of the ground, the Adelaide Crows have gone there 5 times and they still haven't been able to get a possession inside their attacking 50.
So Maverick Weller, another Tasmanian in this St Kilda lineup, and another player who before this afternoon had not kicked a goal this year. Well, this would be extraordinary for a 4-goal lead. Weller directly in front, 45 metres out. It just drifts a little into behind.
Well, everything a little slow right now for the Crows. No obvious options. 3-2-20. The Saints, while the Crows are still rubbing sleep out of their eyes. Kelly back inside. Yench.
That's good.
Wide ball to Laird. Yep. This is where they've been struggling. From the wing to half forward with any real precision. Lynch. Look at the Saints in numbers coming to your screen. Savage. Well, back to Grigg. The ball comes.
He was holding my own.
So Grigg getting the opportunity on the ball in the absence of Douglas and Sloan and Crouch. Where's Eddie? It's his pocket, not this time though. Van Berlo, back it comes. Thompson has Dangerfield off hands. Stephen to half forward. Well, clever little touch in the end. Now Lynch, eyes light up, long ball, easy kill for Dempster.
There was a rotation there, but Dempster has actually gone to Eddie Betts. I think he's a good matchup too. He's a lot taller than Eddie Betts, but I think you do need to play a taller type player on Betts because he has got the ability to jump hard and high at the ball.
So Savage then with the kicking in duties. He goes to the outer side. That's a very good kick, and Fisher under it a long time. Took a good mark opposed to Mitch Grigg.
Tim, we always used to put Dustin Fletcher on Eddie Betts when he was playing for Carlton because he has got that ability to mark really high up in the air, but his reaction when the ball hits the ground is second to none, and that's why Fletcher had those abilities and picked him up all the time.
I don't think he likes playing against taller players either, Walshy.
No, well, it makes him actually have to compete and think through his game rather than just get the crumbs and stay on the ground.
Sinclair had the footy a long time. Weller, it ended up in his hands. He pumped the ball towards the 50. So the latest of late withdrawals. Montagna out of this team and sitting in the stands. Hurt himself during the warm-up. Hickey. Revolt came third man up and unopposed in the end. Van Berlo. Henderson kicks it around the body back towards the wing. Fisher started this game really well. Terrific spoil down forward. Ends up with Savage. It was a good little handball out from Armitage. High ball again. Cheney the flyer. No mark. Brings the ball to ground. Might be holding the ball now.
I thought it was off multiple hands, Kyle, from what I saw. I thought it was off multiple hands. Thank you.
Well, let's have another look. One.
Coming back here.
Well, there was a hand in there, but we've seen those paid.
Well, dangerous territory, dangerous times for the Crows. Henderson gives the ball back to the Saints. So off a step to the top of the square. Dempster. Well, Crows have got the numbers. Laird, nothing really forward of the ball though. Hard to measure confidence, Tim, but you feel the Saints gained plenty last week.
Still me.
Kelly.
Yours.
This is his man in Smith, and the Saints can reload.
They're putting great pressure on at the moment, though, St Kilda. Just forcing some indecision here from the Adelaide Crows.
Jack Stephen to Jack Nunes to the hot spot. Who's at home? Laird again.
You read that well, Laird. He's been their best intercept player this year for the Crows.
To Betts, who's a long way from where he loves to be. On the outer side, roaming is Henderson. Well, again, a turnover. This time Delaney decides to go back to Savage, and there's some loose men from the Saints through the middle of the ground. That's the way they decide to come.
Dempster gives it to Billings. Now Weller runs into three Crows. Threaded a handball cleverly towards Longer, but Longer couldn't handle it. And Wright worked the ball out and then keeps coming. That was brilliantly done. Used Lynch. Now goes long. Eddie Betts on his own. Not Eddie Betts, it's Charlie Cameron. Well, I was
Grant here, please.
It's his pocket. It's Betts' pocket.
Taken in.
Charlie shouldn't be there.
By the fact that that's where he's done his best work. Well done, Charlie. So now Eddie arriving, the local knowledge. He's the specialist in this area, like a real estate agent.
Thanks, Dylan. Cheers.
Charlie's just leasing.
Exactly. So Charlie Cameron, well, they need one, don't they? St Kilda 3-2. They lead it by 3 goals for the opening goal of the afternoon for Adelaide. Just to behind.
Yeah, that's fine. Thanks.
So St Kilda's lead 17 points. We've gone nearly 17 minutes and the Adelaide Crows haven't kicked a goal.
Robertson and Nunes to Fisher, whose body finally seems to be looking after him. So many matches watching on from the stands as Lee Montagna is doing this afternoon. Bruce provides the contest. Longer casts in the role as Rover, knocks the ball back inside. Yench takes a few Saints on, fires it back this time. Crouch on the left boot. Who's at home for the Crows? Nothing doing. Sam Fisher, as he's done for so much of his career, floats in front, takes the grab and sorts things out for the Saints. Well, not 15 the call, so Savage back to Fisher. Inside it comes. Armitage runs into trouble, got a loose man back. In the end, Dempster hurriedly to the wing. Longer flies almost for Stephen. Second effort very good. Revolt went looking for Templeton, had his back turned at that moment. Inside, Van Berlo quickly. Now there's a chance. Grigg on the left boot. Crows are away.
Well, this was all about pressure. They weren't able to clear the ball, St Kilda, and then in the end they just found enough space to operate in Adelaide, and that is their first major for the afternoon.
Getting very high was Longer. That was tremendous athleticism. Well done, Schneider to Stephen. It was like a little flick pass. And up forward, Dunstan. Cheney coming the other way, meeting the football hard, Templeton. Back inside, Schneider's kick. Down towards full forward and Bruce. He just got under the football a little. And then the clearing kick, it needed to be good. And it was very good in the end. Talia's work, excellent. And the mark taken by Kelly. So just pushed off the footy as he kicked. That wasn't well done. Sinclair, handball forward. Schneider kept coming. That was well done. He got it from Dunstan. High ball. Billings up in front. Smith, handball to the back of the pack. And Kelly's clearing kick is a good one.
It's going to come back. So McKenzie has a crowded forward line. To the top of the square is the option. Hickey's the tall timber. Cheney gets caught underneath. Now a chance for the youngster again. Is he happy just to see it over? He is. They're going to be under a pressure all day, you suggest, both Kelly and Lever, Tim.
And I think what St Kilda have to try and do is position one of their tools at the top of that square. I mean, that's like a get-out kick for them. And as long as they get a contest there, their St Kilda players at ground level can work towards it.
So Lever at the moment with Bruce. Ball underneath the players. Neither Thompson nor Weller at the start of all that knew where it was. Over the top of Lynch. Easy pickings now for Longer. He'll go backwards and the Saints can contemplate again. Dempster swings the ball wide. Sinclair on the end of it. Can just continue on. One bounce is enough and then quickly to half forward. Too hot for Dunstan.
It was the right idea. They just had too much depth on that. And it's really using the width of the ground too, which is pulling the Adelaide defence right across the ground, which will open up other spaces for them if they can make those kicks stick.
So Laird went short to Yench, and Yench a little bit of indecision, and the kick in the end very good. And Crouch has got the footy. Cheney close to the boundary line. Next one important. Well done to Wright, who hit the ground running. He goes long back towards the square. Eddie not paid the mark. Stephen arrives. Is that holding the ball? It rolls. It might have got over the line. Eddie paddling for Cameron. And now it is over a different line. It's the boundary line this time. And it'll be thrown in. Was this a mark?
No.
Hold the meter.
Just got to keep playing Eddie though, don't you? Like he's capable of turning the dead ball into the live ball.
Sure is.
Well, Dempster had bets around the place. McKay just put it to ground. Stephen runs into a bit of trouble. Had to try and at least pretend he was getting rid of it. Saints will come away quickly. Well, it tumbles the ball to the wing. Bouncing ball beats all players. The foot race begins, but Kelly's got a bit of time and space. A rare luxury so far this afternoon for him. To Talia. What a start to his career he's had this time. Too hot again, but Jacobs will get the football.
Go back, please. That's your mark.
So a rising star early doors, and then a best and fairest for Talia. He's becoming a key pillar for the Crows. For Thompson,
thanks, Tom.
The veteran out there for the Crows in year 15. Well, even the locals are getting restless. They want quicker ball movement. Thompson knew what he's up to. Laird quickly to McKay from right on 50. Big fly, Eddie Betts!
He's going to punt.
Yep, out here. It's a mark. No, outside. Now. Eddie.
Well, you can't deny Eddie twice.
This will be an interesting replay, though, Hannah.
The first wasn't a mark, and this maybe wasn't either, but it's his end, his pocket. Can he finish? They've got their second, and Eddie's taken mark of the day so far.
Hello, Tim.
All day.
Oh, I'm paying that.
All day. Maybe not at Moorabbin, but definitely at the Adelaide Oval.
They've kicked the last two, Adelaide, and looking better. Billings.
High tackle. St Kilda. Thanks, Scott. Yeah, high tackle against you. Yeah, got him high. Just there.
Well, unfortunately, yes, he is. Robert, and then gathers the footy on the overlap. A quick kick to the pocket, and that's well done. Armitage pushing forward.
Stay there. Yep, here it is here. Don't crib around, though. Yep.
Up to 5. This will be 6th disposal. Armitage had 45 last week.
He's right on his line.
Against the Western Bulldogs, the most ever by a Queenslander in the AFL competition, Basil.
Very nicely done, Tim, and the most by any player in the competition this year. 30 plus 4 times this season. Before this year, just 3 times 30 plus in 107 games. Can he finish it with a goal? It was skinny to start with, wasn't it?
I reckon the matchup between Thompson and Armitage is going to be critical to the result of this game too. Who gets the most ball inside that actually sets the outside type midfielders running and moving?
Tim, another one of those key matchups in the midfield is Weller on Dangerfield. Weller's been fantastic. He's continuing on a great year. He's had the 7 disposals so far and kept Danger, one of the most important players for the Crows, down to 3.
Just going back to Armitage, Tim, since Lenny Hayes retired, he really has become such a leader and so instrumental in the middle. Some players really blossom.
He has. He had a big chat to Richo during the off-season. Richo said, drop some kilograms, get yourself down around what Jordan Lewis has done. You'll be a better 4-quarter player.
Well, the big ruckman, he bit off a fair bit and did it beautifully to Thompson. Now to half forward. Thompson's kick was well weighted to Lynch, but Revolt became the defender.
That's great running from Revolt there. We've seen him doing it at the other end of the ground. To be able to position himself back there just to cut that off, that's fantastic play.
When the coach says you've got Nick Revolt for the afternoon, just put on your running shoes.
They reckon he blows up the GPS, Nick Revolt. They don't even apply to him anymore.
The readings look so ridiculous, I think they're faulty.
Thanks, Adam.
So they've worked their way back into the game, the Crows, with the last couple. Really fast start by St Kilda. Jacobs did well. Thompson working his way into the game as well, and Schneider right there with him. He just took it off the boot and over the line. Adelaide have won 4 of their last 4 against St Kilda and 6 of the last 7. So they're good against the Saints. Henderson, Cameron, terrific look away. Quickly it ends up with Brodie Smith from Thompson. Revolts down. Oh dear me. Smith and Thompson and Revolt, a very heavy clash of heads. Play goes on meantime. Trying to get the ball forward was Webster. Still in a lot of pain, Nick Revolt. Gee, that's incredible courage from both players, and both of them.
They're going to stop the game here.
And so they should.
Oh dear, such a heavy clash of heads.
He hit the ground in exactly that position. He has not moved.
Just watch this again. It was obviously his head on head. Just watch this. He sort of got him cold in terms of coming into tackle, but then it just connected head. He's already out before he hits the ground. You can see there.
He had 2 actions. I didn't believe so, all right?
Mark Soderstrom on the boundary. That's just bad luck, Soders.
Well, it is, and of course Nick Riewoldt not moving at the moment. There are concerns earlier because we saw Jack Loney crash into Jake Lever just on the wing here about 15 minutes ago. Loney is actually down with a doctor in the rooms at the moment. So the Saints already 1 down. Obviously doesn't look good for Riewoldt either here.
So as we also know during the early part of this season too, Smith had another nasty knock to the head against Collingwood.
Yeah, he did, Tim, and of course he did front up the next week, so he did get that concussion there, and he was okay. So there's a bit of conjecture about whether he would play the following week, and they rolled the dice, and he has been okay. As we can see on the screen there, so both clubs have activated their concussion subs. It's Jack Loney, not Nick Riewoldt, that St Kilda has used there, and also Brodie Smith has gone. So the clubs now will assess both of those players, and obviously you can see with Riewoldt there, we'll expect that he definitely won't come back.
Well, we echo those applause. I think everyone in the football world hoping he's okay. And you're right, Tim, it was such an open hit, wasn't it? 2 players open going for the football. So after all of that, a free kick for Armitage. We will keep you posted. And Armitage from half back to longer, and you wonder what effect this will have on both teams, really. Savage now. Little one over the top. Billings goes down towards Bruce. Taken high. Weller, free kick.
Back here, please.
So Weller, inside the last minute of the first term, goes searching, but no one at home. Thompson, 50 metres. Just a little eager Schneider.
I think Schneider saying there that he thought the ball hit the deck.
Just here.
I'm not sure he wasn't right, actually.
Hold there, hold there.
Suddenly an eerie feeling around the place after Nick's accident. Talia inside, quickly to Dangerfield. He'll back himself every time. Templeton got the tackle in. Scooped on by Sinclair. Wide ball, Stephen. Wider still, Savage. Ran out of options in the end, just had to put it over the top. Billings, back to Savage.
Well, Talia's role now changes too, because obviously he was set for Nick Riewoldt. He probably gets to go and play on one of the other tools in the St Kilda attack, which plays into their hands a bit too.
Maybe now to Bruce and allow Lever to come away and have an easier afternoon. Jacobs wanted Dangerfield, found him. Weller found Dangerfield. McKay almost ran into McKenzie. Both players thought better of it.
Well, Talia's now gone to Hickey, so they're 2 tall players deep. Kelly.
Thanks, Luke.
And also Talia.
Back here. Let him run!
Jacobs won the tap. Schneider won the football.
On the ball, illegal disposal. Advantage.
They've got to be quick here, the Crows. Time is their enemy. Grigg. He's kicked a goal already. Can he find Texas? Well, he's got to hold on here. If he passes off, the clock will beat him.
No, he's got to go back and kick this. And he can too. He's in his range.
Taylor, that's your line. Mark is right here.
Well, this, to equal it up, going to the first break. Coming in with 18 goals, Walker, equal with Bruce. The skipper.
No closer, Adam.
He's almost a throwback to the old school days. Lead, kick, goal. Well, he's done it all again, Texas. The crowd gets on their feet. It was an interesting first term, and late it was really disappointing to see Nick Riewoldt go down. It finishes with some joy for the locals. The scores are level at 3-3 apiece. One captain we'll keep you updated on. The other captain finishes with a goal. Equal at quarter time, 21 apiece. Mark Soderstrom. Guys, some sickening clashes. Nick Riewoldt, any update?
Yeah, well, we saw him come off on the stretcher, obviously, in that first quarter. So the crowd is really quite subdued here. It was a big injury. Let's hope all the best for Nick Riewoldt. But we saw him go through the room, Sodas, and they have got some concerns both sides, not just Nick Riewoldt here with this sickening clash with Brodie Smith.
As we can see too, Smith's gone down, and we know that he was concussed in round 2 against Collingwood. He did come back and play the next week, so the Crows are going to be very concerned, as are St Kilda with Riewoldt there. So Adelaide has activated their concussion sub. They've got about 5 minutes left before they let the interchange stewards know whether they will keep Brodie Smith off. You think they're going to err on the side of caution. Clearly Riewoldt gone. The sub in the concussion situation also for Jack Loney. That's not going to matter now with Riewoldt gone, Welsh.
Thanks, boys. Well, there are some things that are very, very difficult to watch sometimes on a football field, and that is one of them. Just a sickening feeling, and I think that goes for just about everyone here at the ground. Scores level. Adelaide fighting their way back, 3-3, 21 apiece, start of the second term. Longer and Jacobs at it again. Armitage so good at freeing the hands. The advantage paid. It ended up from Billings to Stephen. Long now down towards Templeton. That was going to be a difficult one for him to mark, and Jensch read it well and just drifting off the back of the pack marks.
Up to 12 now, Stephen, but that wasn't the best kick of the afternoon for him so far.
So Jensch towards Dangerfield. Well done, Roberton. Got over the top and knocked the ball away.
News just in, Nick Riewoldt's gone to hospital straight away, so
Get your meter, Sam.
that's
Billy.
the latest.
Thank you.
Thoughts are with Catherine and all the Riewoldt family at this time.
Play on.
Fingers crossed. Thompson, Jacobs. Little punch forward, Weller. Schneider had it, Longer. Hurried ball. Bounce okay in the end for Shenton, because to the right side of Kelly and then just broke back. They've held it inside the 50 here, the Saints. So not for long.
Held it in.
So Kelly, the tackler.
Held it in, Cam. Okay, you go.
Game 5, 10 tackles on debut. Another there. Wide to McKay, who doubles back, and Kelly looks the obvious target.
Josh, a meter, please, Josh.
It really does take a toll on a young group of players when your captain does go down the way they did. At the quarter time there, they spoke a lot about, we've got to refocus now, we've got to stay on the game. They were talking a lot about the Adelaide press. Stay composed and work their way through it.
Throw.
So free kick now. Kelly's kick wasn't a good one.
Out of bounds first? Yes. Okay, throw it in.
And in the end, the ball did get over the line. So just buys both teams a little bit of time. Jacobs and Longer to link up again. It's been a flat old start to this second term, and well, nobody should be surprised by that given what we had just before the buzzer. Dangerfield did very well then. That was clever. Across to Wright, who just hugs the line really with a kick. Dempster the first back, but the ball over the line and deliberate by the umpire.
He's probably right, but it's a brave call, that one. It travels about 45 metres before it bounces out.
Under the category of where else could he kick the football. High ball. Billings got up. And a quick kick out. McKay, and now he's down as well. Roberton gathers the football. Van Berlo with some courage. Schneider coming the other way. Jensch now just got his handball away. Lever's clearing kick towards the wing. Over the football. That was well done by Webster. Handball back for Nunes. Can give it to Armitage. Not a lot of room to work in, but he got the ball over the top to Stephen. So this is better from the Saints. And now the kick towards the pocket. Not quite the mark. Almost, but not quite by Shenton. And the ball on the deck and a free kick coming St Kilda's way, and Billings, the hero of the last quarter last week.
Adelaide might want to start putting some time into Jack Stephen too. He's up to 13 disposals. He's the #1 possession player on the ground at the moment. And it's his speed and it's his ability to kick the ball long and deep into the forward line that they need to be concerned about. So somebody has to start putting a little bit of extra time into him.
Now, I don't think Jack Billings has given away a free kick today. Game 22 this week. He has never given away a free kick in his AFL career, and he's missed the goal. It was an AFL record, incidentally, game 22, entering game 22 without having given away a free kick
the longest any player has gone in that category. St Kilda, that behind puts them in front by a point.
Well, indecisive Jench and in trouble. Out of trouble almost. That'll do. He ran himself into the pocket. He had no option other than to back himself. Nothing obvious.
Deliberate, Hammer?
Well, not a lot less deliberate than the other side, was it?
One was a kick, one was a handball.
One was 15 metres and always for the boundary. Another kick went 45, bounced a number of times and skipped over. Almost Dangerfield, got a hand on it. Crouch, watches right, brought the ball back. Laird, long ball to the wing. Lynch, Fisher to beat. Boundary beats both. Just back to Nick Riewoldt. The fact that he has gone directly to hospital and not even considered to stay around the place is worrying.
Well, they might be concerned about, that was a really heavy knock to the head. They might be concerned about a break of some kind.
We'll update you as soon as we hear more, but Nick Riewoldt straight to hospital. Laird, Jench, Texas.
Back here.
Umpires get plenty of support here, don't they? Screaming for 50 with the locals. So Lynch to go back and try and kick the Crows fourth and put them in front.
That's your Tom. That's your line now.
See Fisher there just grabbing hold of the jumper. Clearly a free kick to Lynch.
Mark's here.
Your end zone, Curtis.
Yes, got it.
So 10-goal Tommy, as he refers to himself after a big afternoon against the Giants. This for the lead. Crows are in front for the first time.
Let's get down to Mark Soderstrom on the boundary. Soders?
Well, Baz, the 20-minute window has closed for St Kilda on the concussion ruling with Jack Loney, so he has officially been subbed off. Nick Riewoldt, of course, it won't matter because he's gone off to hospital. And the Crows, well, they have about 2 or 3 minutes left before they make the call on Brodie Smith. So Cam Shenton, SA boy from Norwood in the SANFL, is on the field now permanently for the Saints.
Good on your Soders. Billings got the ball from Sinclair, but it's going back the other way now. Crouch, Thompson lowers the eyes again. Terrific take on the half volley by the skipper. That was magnificent. Well done across to Jacobs, and now the ball down towards full forward, and Lynch is on the end of it again. That was clever work by Lyons. He runs in and kicks his second. 2 in a minute.
This is a great pickup, as you called, Baz, there by Walker on the half volley, getting the handball out straight away. And then they had players, or a player forward of the ball. And this is what I liked about Lynch. He just decided straight away he's going to kick the goal. Fisher came at him.
Well, momentum changed. The Saints got the first 3 of the afternoon. The Crows have got the last 5. Lead by 11 points. Make it almost an opportunity for Cameron Savage. Fisher under the pump. Cameron back desperately for the football.
Well, they got off to a fast start, St Kilda. They haven't kicked a goal since the 9-minute mark of the first quarter, so things have really dried up for them. Enormous pressure now being applied to them around the ball by Adelaide.
Fisher, third man. Jacobs saw the ball drift over, grabbed it, almost distributed. Well, tough for Greg. Into the back. Nunes going down, and again a player in some discomfort.
Coming back here.
He's become a vital cog, Jack Nunes, in this St Kilda wheel. Oh, Dangerfield over the top. Not quite for Delaney. Dunstan. Nunes. Wide ball, has to be good. Well done, Jake Kelly. Well, inside 50 is crowded. Nothing clean. White jumpers all over the place. Somehow it ends up with Wright. Turns into a tackle, lost it. Longer, Weller, through in between Walker and Dangerfield. Now who can grab it for the Saints? Almost Bruce. Shenton. He's going to have to kick forward or wait. Does the latter. Holds up, nothing doing. Hickey's run inside 50. He's the only option other than Bruce wide. Brown should be able to just take on Bruce and settle things down. Well done, Brown. Now there's Saints around the place. Kick had to be perfect, and was Henderson to half forward. Now Tex is just too far out. Eddie is deep. He's the target. Eddie.
Didn't they do that well from half-back? Yench has had 6 touches this quarter already, giving them great drive.
Cool head from Luke Brown ends up in an Eddie Betts goal. His second, the last 6 to the Crows.
Adelaide by 17 points now. Eddie Betts with the last of them. And we can get down to Sodas.
Yeah, Baz, concussion assessment time also up for Brodie Smith, so he is done for the day. Jared Lyons, who started as a sub for the 3rd time in 4 games this year, is now into the game permanently, and that hot run of goals from the Crows, as you could imagine, has changed the entire atmosphere of this ground in the last 15 minutes.
So it's been a day of carnage, hasn't it, really? Physical carnage, just very, very heavy commitment at the football, and it's resulted in some physical clashes that have left people the worse for wear.
We talked about the undersized Adelaide Crows defence, but at the moment what's a real problem for St Kilda is their running ability and their speed.
There's a lot of confusion there. Yench saying that he...
to give it straight back. No. I told you to give it straight back to him. No. You held the ball. Listen to me. Listen to me. It's not for that, right? I didn't know Jack Stevens was slider. Just wait. You need to give it straight back to him. No. Time.
Well, he can argue all he likes. It won't be reversed, nor will the 50. So Jack Stevens pops it over the top, and finally they get one back.
Introducing the iPulse Smooth Skin Gold, the fast and effective way to reduce unwanted hair. Intelligently delivering intense pulsed light for long-term hair removal. With intelligent detect and set technology delivering the right level of treatment on your body or face. Experience silky smooth skin on your legs, arms, underarms, bikini line, cheek and jawline. With the Smooth Skin Gold, it's easy, quick and safe to get salon smooth skin at home. Available only at Shaver Shop or online at shavershop.com.au.
Well, depleted numbers for Richo. Lost Geary and Montagna pre-game. Loney and Revolt out. Brodie Smith out for the Crows. It has been a torrid afternoon for all players. Jacobs threads it through. Thompson lost his feet, kept his head. Well done, Laird. Now a chance. Inside it comes. Again, Tex Walker the target. Which way to look? Tex leading one way, Betts the other.
3 metres, please.
What a difference it makes to a forward, though, when you start to get that break off half-back and that running through the midfield. All that space that now Tex has to operate in. And he's almost impossible to stop. He's quick off the mark. He's got a strong pair of hands.
You'd be happy if the ball was delivered to you like that every time. Matty Crouch's kick absolutely perfect for Walker. His finish, good enough. Well done, Tex. He's got 2.
Jump at it.
So the skipper with his 2nd goal of the afternoon, and Adelaide's lead now 17 points. Jacobs again decisive, and then followed up with a handball out towards Thompson. Coming the other way, that was good work by Sinclair. Just overran the football in the end, and Kelly's clearing kick. Yench, one option, Henderson the other. It might end up with Yench after all. Now Savage chasing. Well done, Yench. Used Jacobs. Got it again. Back to Thompson. Could go back to Yench. 3rd disposal in that passage of play. Nicely done. And then they raffle it on the outer side. Working the ball forward, and Dangerfield ends up with the Brown kick. So playing with real confidence now, the Adelaide Crows. After a slow, sluggish start. High ball inside 50. Good grab up in front. That was well done by Hickey.
And that's the different, Basil. When they can slow them down and force that long kick into their forward line, it takes Walker out of the equation.
Well, Robertson got hemmed in, put Hickey under pressure. Hickey dropped the football. Van Berlo, Lyons, Grigg, Crouch. They circle.
This way. Stay apart, Sam. Sam, thanks, mate.
Well, crash. This is a brutal game. It has been severe on many of the players running into each other. Another example there. Fumbling ball from Longer. Chance now for Talia. Cheney will be under pressure immediately. Did well. Yench dives for cover.
Yench with the ball in hand again. He's up to 9 disposals already in this 3rd term. He's provided enormous drive off halfback.
Well, we just look down to the forward pocket, and this time it's Eddie Betts in the hands of the trainers after that collision. So we'll keep an eye on Eddie, but it has been brutal so far.
Straight up, just here. Yeah. Thank you.
Van Berlo's now running with Jack Stephen too by the look of it.
Move it on.
So Laird with the free kick, you saw him pushed into the back. Brown now, he's gone backwards, retreating. He's given Lever some work to do. Put a crow amongst the pigeons, as you could see.
Not bad, Vasily, not bad.
Cheney now. I think everyone at the ground unsettled, as we said, by what took place in the first term, and it's taken a run of consecutive goals from Adelaide just to settle things down. But even so, I think the repercussions and the feeling of what happened to Nick Riewoldt remains out there. Talia's kick, well done by Lynch, who followed up hard now. Wants to cut back inside. It's a decisive play. The kick for Walker not quite spot on, but he recovered well. And the quick kick forward by Lyons. Right. No mark, or was it the mark? Gives it to Charlie Cameron. Took a little too long. Billings drifted across.
Against you, it was high. No way. No, he's down there picking the ball up. No way. That's fine. Stop. I'm back on. Straight back. That is not high. From where I was, I saw arm over the shoulder. Straight back there. That's it. No, the first.
So Jason Armstrong doing the explain. I've got to say, I agree with him. I didn't think it was high.
Well, the first bit of it hit high, but that's very unlucky.
So free kick against Weller. Charlie Cameron dead in front, kicking for his first, and he gets it.
There's a great smother there, and then this is the free kick. There's Weller coming in. Gee, I reckon he only got him on the tip of the shoulder anyway with that. Where the umpire was positioned, it may have looked like it had gone higher than what it did.
Disposals, Tim, in this term, 71 the Crows, 29 the Saints. And the damage is being done on the scoreboard at the moment. The Crows starting to get a real wriggle on. Lyons, who's come on for Brodie Smith, goes short to the safe hands of Thompson.
Right out, runner. That's it. Thank you.
Well, McKay will be too far out.
Right on the boundary, guys.
Yeah, I'm watching.
Thanks, mate.
Well, you see what's before him. To find a target is a difficult task. Well, almost Dangerfield. Betts was lurking for the Cameron handball.
Thanks, boys. He's just dropped to his knees. Mate, he's gone down that tackle. Playing for it.
You heard Billy Longer.
Thanks, Eddie.
The record players winning debates over umpires over the journey isn't a good one.
What is the score over the last 140 years?
Look at that. Left foot genius from the protege. Cameron's got a couple.
Well, here's the free kick again.
Your turn this time, Tim.
Well, that's marginal too. Both of them are resulting goals.
The interesting thing about it is we debated up here with replays. Imagine how hard it is to get it right every time.
No, it's not an easy job being up.
No, that's for sure. Shenton now with the footy. 9 of the last 10 goals Adelaide's way. That's a very errant kick. Didn't really look and just thumped it long and out of bounds on the full.
You've got to really admire the work that Sam Jacobs is doing in the ruck. Going one out, he's 21 hit-outs to 9 going against Hickey and Longer. He's been the reason that they're getting this first use out of the centre and getting it so easily into their forwards.
That's a good point, Woosha, because 4 goals this quarter have come from stoppages, and he does a mighty effort, and he's always won out too, Sammy Jacobs.
234 hit-outs for the season for the Crows. 7 for Jacobs, 7 for his teammates in total for the remainder of this season. Quite incredible, isn't it? Talia had it swatted away. Well done, Shenton. Applying good pressure over the football. Dunstan went in and got it. But there's no clear ball, no room to move in, and the ball's over the line.
Even then, there were 5 Adelaide Crows players to 2 St Kilda players around the ball. That's what they've become much better at since about the 10-minute mark of the first quarter, just hunting in packs, securing the ball, and then they're spread.
6 goals to 1 in this term. 9 of the last 10 to the Adelaide Crows. Crouch feeds the ball back. Laird, who's been terrific so far. Heard the umpire, Van Berlo, a fumble, but time. Crouch. Out to McKay. Wide, right. Back to McKay. He's got space on the outer side. A couple of bounces. Continues to freewheel. Well, on the left, just superb to Cameron. Back inside. Well, he had the option of Lynch or Grigg. Grigg quickly on. Jacobs over the top into space. Walker, well done. Got a hand on it in the end. It was McKenzie. No, it was Robertson who got it. Quickly Nunes to Robertson. Now the kick is pulled to Hickey. The Saints have nothing forward.
So Hickey, despite that, goes quickly. The one man that he had as a target was Schneider. It was well done by Laird, and he gets on the end of the football again. And he uses the big ruckman Jacobs. Grigg now through the middle. It's a high ball. Lynch is the target. He was outnumbered that time, and Delaney just drifting back to 2-on-1. And the 2 won the day.
Basil, they're just completely dominating. 12 Crows have had 4 or more disposals this quarter. No Saint has had 4 touches this quarter. They just can't get their hands on the ball.
So Shenton, who started all of this off, he did pretty well in the end, then got around Jansch and kept running.
Good play.
And it was a really good kick in the end, and Weller, he's off. He had to dummy around 2 players. One of them was Talia, the other Hickey, his teammate. High ball, waiting for it. Savage didn't sit nicely for him at all. Billings a chance, though. Runs onto the football, sends it long, off target, and it will be thrown in Eddie Bett's pocket.
If you've just joined us and looking for Nick Revolt, he had a heavy collision with Brodie Smith late in the first term. Concussed. He was concussed before he hit the ground hard. He's gone to hospital. No further update. We will let you know when we hear further. Hickey onto the left boot. Minor score, but our thoughts are with Nick and all the Revolt family. And as I said, if we hear anything at all, we will let you know. But right now he's in the best hands at hospital.
Move it on, Matt. Play on.
So Matty Jansch.
Yours.
He's had 16 disposals this afternoon. Been a really strong player. Fisher, good mark up in front. Handball for Templeton. That one, well, difficult for Hickey. Used Billings, Weller. Back to Billings. Heard the voice of Armitage. Armitage now trying to send it inside 50. It had too much on it for Sinclair. And Jansch, yeah, what a quarter and what a game, really, Tim. This will be disposal number 17.
Wow, off half back too. He's become a real factor, hasn't he?
11 of them in this quarter.
He was fringe, really, for the Crows in the first 4 years, and now such a regular. Always just named after being in and out and battling with his body for a little part of his early career. Dropped 3 times in 2013 and 20 last year, and hasn't missed this. Crouch starting to get a bit of the football too. Jacobs, the constant. Crouch again. Henderson went surging, wanted Laird. Thompson amongst it all quickly. McKay ran into trouble. Sinclair pulled the kick. Talia in flight, read it perfectly. He went looking for Bruce, read it in the air, doubled back quickly. He sets the Crows away again.
That was a really poor lead then by Bruce, because it was always going to be difficult for the St Kilda player to see him. He doubled back. He made it even more difficult for them to hit him with a kick.
Disposal number 18 now for Jansch. This time hugs the wing, caught behind the skipper. Well done, Dempster.
Sometimes you've got, sorry Basil, sometimes as a forward you've got to do the obvious thing, and even if it means going into a bit of extra traffic and being part of a collision, you just have to do that. That's better, coming up and meeting the ball, Bruce.
Terrific grab by Bruce that time, just drifting in from the side. Now, not a lot to kick to. Hickey at the back. No mark. Savage waiting down. Here's Billings. Sharpshooter, we know. He lowered the eyes. That was good use of the football. Very clever. He kept it low and found Dunstan.
Around on your line, please. 2 metres.
The footer, this is not going to be an easy kick.
Don't go forward, right? Towards the other umpire, towards the other umpire.
Luke Dunstan, the 20-year-old South Australian, back home. Would have liked better. Was skinny all the way.
When you see Dunstan play now with Lenny's number, you always think of Lenny. It's sort of a sign of the times, isn't it? There's no Montaigne out there with injury. Revolt's disappeared. Lenny's gone. It's this new generation that are battling hard for the Saints, but reminds you of how young they are.
It's a young, inexperienced side on the road today. They started well, but now, and that's a poor kick into their attacking 50, just giving the ball away like that. I mean, that's just a cheap possession to be giving away.
And just an update, the producers are ringing the club regularly, trying to inform everyone on Nick Revolt. No update yet.
So Henderson with the footy. Hickey, well, that was unlucky. Turned around to look at the umpire, and then Henderson took off, and then Henderson kicked it into the next man. So all of that a bit ugly. Brown's got the footies wrapped up in front by Nunes. Savage had him from behind, and well, the coach, I think he's shell-shocked as well.
Well, he was brilliant last week at halftime. What can he pull out of the hat at halftime this week?
That famous smile as his team left the ground late last week. Well done, Billings. It crossed to Stephen. Dunstan was caught behind. Armitage, very clever hands. He knows only one way, and all of that is effective. Bruce pushing off, and Bruce takes a good mark.
And there's the difference between a bloke that's probably had 3 seasons or 3 off seasons in the gym against a kid that's really just had the one. I mean, that was just a battle of strength. A kick here by Armitage, just to the one-on-one contest, and Bruce just out-muscling him, young Lever, who's going to be a fine player.
Josh Bruce started the round equal 4th in the goal kicking, with Taylor Walker with 18 goals, including 6 in round 2 against the Gold Coast, a career high. Kicked 5 last week. And he's kicked his second here. Well done. Watching on, he's out for about 6 weeks with a fractured cheekbone. Josh Bruce, multiple goals, 6 of 7 games this season. 6 goals round 2 against the Gold Coast. He kicked 5 against Essendon last week, just the single. And here's Armitage out of the middle.
Well, and maybe another chance here for the Saints drifting back. Cheney, your point was well made, Tim. At 27 points down before that Bruce goal, the Saints probably weren't even concerned. It's not till they get to sort of mid-50s that they start to realise things that better change.
They just slaughtered that ball going forward again, though. I mean, that should have been to the advantage of one of their forwards. They really just kicked it to the Adelaide defence then.
So the Bruce goal stops a run of 3 for the Crows. It's their second for the term. Stephen kicked the other at the 12-minute mark, so there's been slim pickings after the first 3 of the match.
Done a pretty good job, well, on Dangerfield, hasn't he? Nearly half time. He's only had 8 disposals, Dangerfield.
And Adelaide 6 straight for the term home.
Yeah, it's been impressive. Nick Revolt has certainly left a big void to fill.
Holding, Armitage. No, it's not that one. Just here. Thank you.
Armitage is pointing to the one where you're supposed to get the 50-metre penalty down the field.
I like the umpire's explanation. Not that one.
Robertson to Armitage, who ran out of options in the end, had to go back to Robertson. He's short on options too, but Shenton in the end helps him out. Bruce has got a couple for the afternoon. Inside the last 90 seconds.
I like what Bruce did then. He just rolled straight around, and then he forced the next issue. He said, OK, I'm going to kick it to the advantage of Dunstan, and that forced the free kick against him by Henderson there. So
let it go.
So Dunstan, captain of South Australia, who won the under-18 championships under him. South Clairboy already had a shot at goal at this end minutes ago. It was tougher. This to make it 2 in a row. Bring it back under 3 goals. It's trying hard. Couldn't quite come back. So 20 points, just on 29 seconds to play before the long break.
The Saints probably have been on top the last 10 minutes of this quarter. Obviously, with Rewalt going down in that first quarter, they would have taken a bit of time to resettle and get their structures again. But they're right in this game. They've been on top of a few skill errors. They'll go in at half-time and take a lot of positives out of this last 10 minutes.
So Matty Yench, who we saw on screen just a moment ago, he started all of this off. 18 disposals for the game. He's been quite superb. He's kicked to Brown and then Laird. So down to the last 10 seconds of this opening half. And even though the football's been okay, well, there's a 50-metre here. So Nunes took the mark. Lynch overstepping, and now a shot on goal.
Walker kicked one after the siren in the first.
I was about to say, not a half of football that will be remembered for the skill necessarily, but more for the carnage. Revolt down, Loney down, Brad Smith down for Adelaide. So Brodie Smith, Jack Loney, Nick Revolt. But maybe a goal after the siren to make it interesting. Just a behind, a wasted opportunity in the end. So it's had it all, hasn't it? Not all of it good. In fact, not a lot of it good. We'll keep you updated. Adelaide 9-3, St Kilda 5-8. It's the Adelaide Crows by 19 points at half-time.
Both there, good.
So we go again after a very interesting first half of football.
Play on.
Adelaide leading by 19 points, and Thompson it was that got them moving forward. Dangerfield, who we saw at half-time. Long ball down towards half-forward. Terrific Mark Van Berlo was outside the field of play when he handballed. Interesting. Long one now from right, down in front. Cameron almost. Walker comes through. Freed the arms. Across to Grigg. Well, clever kick. Did he know the man was there? Cameron on the end of it. Well done, Lynch. And they've got a goal inside the first 40 seconds. 3 for Charlie.
Uncontested possession, 147 to 110 in that first half. So that's an area that St Kilda are going to have to clamp down on.
So Charlie Cameron has kicked the last 3 goals for the Crows. And they punch forward again. Well done, Cameron. Took it really cleanly and then got rid of the ball. Dunstan Webster swings onto that preferred left of his, bullets the ball other side, hard to win. Gifted back in the end to the youngster, and Lever uses Brown quickly forward. Here's a chance for the Saints. So Dunstan has Armitage clear in the middle, hasn't seen him. Schneider's the obvious option as well, and then the run comes, well, almost too far in the end. McKenzie gave it off, now a chance. Armitage to half forward. Now Bruce, he's just got to go back, settle down and kick another. So he's already got a couple for the afternoon. You sense, Tim, if the Saints are any chance of whittling down what was a 19-point lead at halftime, another bag for Josh Bruce is almost a necessity.
Yeah, they're going to find some goal kickers, but I think it's going to happen for them, or it has to happen for them further up the field. They've got to stop Adelaide from being able to control the ball the way they have for most of this first half.
So he's got 2 for the afternoon. Umpire shuffles. Crows fans delighted.
He's going to be around for a while, this bloke, though. He shows all the hallmarks that you want to see from a key forward.
Well, the Giants had him as a defender, really, didn't they, Tim?
They recruit him as a forward and they try to turn him into the defender, and he's just a natural forward.
Jensch basking in and kicking into the glorious sunshine that is all around the Adelaide Oval. That was a good mark again by Bruce. So they're playing okay despite being 2-man down effectively. The ball comes out, Lever's way to Dangerfield, and now a kick into the shadows. The mark taken by Eddie Betts, who can hit the ground running. He goes long to Lynch. Now Lynch takes it on his chest, runs in, calm and composed, and kicks his 3rd.
Good sign for the Crows there, Brodie Smith. Not the good sign, of course, that he's in the red jacket, but he is out and about moving. He was involved with that clash with Nick Riewoldt. Of course, Riewoldt is in hospital. Brodie Smith concussed in round 2 against Collingwood. He was able to come back round 3 against Melbourne, but I think the club will be a little more cautious this time, his 2nd one for the year.
And a lot of texts coming in asking about Nick Riewoldt. The answer is he's in hospital in the best hands, and we know nothing more. So just joined us. A collision with Brodie Smith late in the first term. Nick Riewoldt out before he hit the ground. He hit the ground hard. Well done, Josh Bruce. A juggling mark and an opportunity again for his 3rd.
Hey, come around, please. Josh Mark's here. One more.
When you look at St Kilda's midfield, I mean, the 2 players are probably going to have outstanding second halves. You said the juggling mark there by Bruce will be Armitage, who started really well in the second half, but also Stephen, who gives him that real run and burst.
Well done. Charlie Cameron's got 3, Tommy Lynch has got 3, and now Josh Bruce.
Stay back here.
Bit of presto time, Tim. Dances with Wolves.
Classic.
Presto, of course,
classic.
lets you stream an unbelievable selection of TV and movies. Try it free. 30-day trial is on now. Presto.com.au.
Really has started the quarter well, Bruce. They've been getting the ball in there enough, the Saints. 33 to 26 against the Crows. So they're getting it in there. That's all they're going to need, Bruce, to finish off like that each time.
So it's certainly a margin that is not beyond them. Henderson's kick Dempster, poor mistake in the end. Walker gathers quickly into the path of Grigg. Gee, that was a good kick. A really good one. Nearly got underneath, but into the post.
Good call back. He's such a smart player, Walker, isn't he? He knew the kick didn't hit its target, but he put it out in front. He knew that his teammate was going to be able to run onto the ball.
So Robertson. He's got a couple of Saints closing late Yench, but Savage, well done. Right spot. And here's the man Tim Watson was talking about who provides the dash. So Jack Stephen, absolutely nothing inside 50. Continues to bounce. Might use over the top Fisher. He looks into the sun, gets caught, gets rid of the ball. Stephen back to Schneider. He'll want his left. A little jig, a pause, and then back to Savage. He's got a lovely long leg. Doesn't use it. Goes short. And finds a man that knows how to kick a goal, but hasn't been prolific this year. Nunes needs to kick this.
Jench is in trouble too.
Yeah, Yench is down, holding his left knee, guys. He's hitting the ground in pain, so looks to be an injury to his left knee there for Yench.
He's called for a stretcher. Okay.
So Nunes has one for the afternoon. It was his first for the year. He's going for second as Yench clutches his knee in pain. It has been a toll for both sides this afternoon. This is terrible stuff.
Players now going to have to stop again as they call for the stretchers. So we talked, hadn't we, about how good he had been today. Yench had been quite outstanding. 18 disposals. Let's have a look here. And they're so often innocuous, and the left knee
just collapsed.
Yeah.
That's sort of the classical ACL. That it's such an innocuous thing, but the result of that is that it might be 12 months on the sidelines. And initially, it's a really, really sharp pain. And then after that, for a lot of players, they can feel that their knee's okay again. And it won't be until the doctor can get in there. And immediately they'll do this test whereby they test the stability of the knee. And if it starts to just sort of move too much, they'll know immediately, even before scans and anything else, that he will require a reconstructive surgery.
There was almost desperation on his face, wasn't there? It was when he was rubbing his face and the frustration was sinking in.
Yeah, you can't help but feel for him. In fact, all four players, obviously, who are out of this game. So we go again, and McKay kicks the ball sideways, and a good one. He kicks to the source. Jacobs takes the footy. It was a good ball too. He kept it low for Wright, who bounces towards the 50. All on his own. Eddie Betts. He gets up high. He hits the ground. He kicks the goal. Nice work, Eddie.
Actually, Dempster actually played it okay, but he went to ground. Eddie stayed on his feet and then just slotted it through. That's his third goal this afternoon. Only had half a dozen touches.
He's added such spark and energy and potency to the Adelaide forward line. Podsiadly to return, maybe to join him in the forward line. We hear he's playing back tomorrow. Kelly tackled by Armitage. Can the Saints answer quickly?
Thank you. David,
it's just a must. Quickly into perhaps safer hands. Schneider. Well, the crowd lets you know early here at the Adelaide Oval.
Thanks, Jack.
Tim, it's the danger when a club like St Kilda press right up the ground. We've seen the last few goals from Adelaide to Betts, Lynch also, Grigg shot on goal. They've been able to get them out the back. So if you're going to press up the ground, you've got to have the ability to read the play and get back so these guys don't slip out the back and get easy shots on goal.
No, it's a good point, Walsh. The last couple of goals they've scored, Adelaide, have come from deep in their own defensive area. And they've just opened up the field too easily.
So Van Berlo, that was a good mark. He was nowhere near close to the tallest man in that contest. It included his own ruckman Jacobs. He drifted in front and took a very good mark, and now Grigg in pain.
The whack to the stomach. Yeah, nah, the ball's up here, can't whack him in the gut. 50 metres.
So 50 the call against Robertson. Gee, Grigg didn't look in good shape either when he hit the ground.
Here it is here. Thank you.
Got one in the comic cuts, didn't he?
Yeah, maybe. So Grigg to the pocket and Walker. Well, that was all too easy. And St Kilda won't be happy with that little breakdown in communication amongst themselves. And Walker can become the fourth Adelaide player with 3 goals alongside his name for the afternoon.
And they've scored 7 goals, 1 so far from set shots, the Adelaide Crows, to 5 goals, 9 St Kilda at the other end of the ground, which is really telling.
So with his 2 this afternoon, Walker up to 20 goals for the year. Into the man on the mark, and Well, he'd like his time over there again, the skipper. And I think that man would like him to have his time all over again.
Nothing there. Eddie Betts, mate. Yes.
Even the umpire's full name, Eddie Betts. No one ever says Eddie or Betts. It's always just Eddie Betts. Dangerfield, almost brilliant. Picked off by Savage. Kick was good, but Bruce is a long way from home. Back to Savage and back to the runner, Billings. Terrific to Armitage, runs into a bit of trouble, loses the football. Thompson's got support. Van Berlo couldn't quite get his hands on the football. And it'll beat both Templeton and the youngster Lever over the line.
Fisher's gone forward, trying to add a little bit of height to the St Kilda forward line.
Well, rare moment where Jacobs isn't the ruckman for the Crows. Little toe poke forward, almost Stephen, not quite. Cameron, big bump. Ball went past Webster. McKenzie couldn't control it, crashing through Robertson. He lost it. Now desperate times for these Crows, just trying to hold it in. Savage couldn't quite take it cleanly. Webster left it behind and may amount to nothing, and does.
And haven't we talked before about their breakdown sort of in their defensive mechanisms? They are a young side, and their concentration from time to time is going to fluctuate.
So Dangerfield did well there, doing the ruck work, and he ends up with the footy back from Thompson. He just didn't quite get his boot into the ball. As a result, just 5 metres in front of him, and up it will come again.
We had their coach Alan Richardson on Talking Footy during the week, and he is such an experienced, composed coach. I think he's ideal for this young group of St Kilda players.
So Billings got it out to Schneider. Sinclair back to Billings. Back to Sinclair. It went through his hands, so that wasn't ideal. And now it's snapped back high. Stephen it was, and at the back of the pack, the clearing kick's okay. It was well gathered by Grigg. There's a lot of space here for Cameron to operate in. His handball over the top, just making his teammate Lyons sit and wait, but he gets it back. Cameron goes to the pocket, and that time a little too wide. So they're away there. It was exciting, but just held up a couple of times by their own skill, and in the end the finish towards the pocket not ideal. And he doesn't look overly delighted with what he's seen this afternoon, Phil Walsh.
So the shadows getting longer at the Adelaide Oval. Still no news on Nick Riewoldt, if you've just tuned in hospital, concussed, and very little coming out of the football club, which is concerning.
Well, the only 2 things we do know, Hammer, are that he regained consciousness and that he's having scans at the hospital.
When the news comes through, we'll let you know. Quick kick out of trouble for the Saints. Fisher did well. Savage measures the kick. Couple of Crows, and only Bruce. Well done. It was a close run thing. Bruce to space. Who's got the legs to get the football? Here's a chance. Templeton left it behind initially, went back and got the football. Nunes drifts in, pulls the kick. Not quite as he would have liked. Crows all around the ball. Thompson not quite clean. McKay brilliant in the turn. Well done. Van Berlo to Jacobs, and the Crows are away. Out of sight, a man with space all around him. They look inside lines. Goes to the skipper in Walker. Walker cruises on in. Over the back. Eddie! Why not? Run on in. Eddie, his end, his goal. He's got 4.
Well, this is where it started. That's great play there by McKay. First to gather the ball, Van Berlo. They got the ball moving the outer side. And there's Eddie. 4 goals already this afternoon, leading the Coleman medal.
And 3 of those 4 have been to left of screen, the home of the Eddie Betts pocket. Well done by Cheney.
So he's gone 5, 5 and 4 already this afternoon in the last 3 games for a small forward. I mean, he's just a superstar of the competition, Eddie. Just seeing Jench just making his way around the boundary line on crutches at the moment too. Get an update from the boys down there at ground level.
So Cheney's defensive kick. Laird was there, well done. Savage, handball over the top for Billings. Weller runs onto the football. This more promising from St Kilda. Terrific kick. Bruce maybe into the sun. Tough one because it hit the hands hard. Well done, Lever. Excellent football, young man, towards Crouch. Then he hugs the boundary line. Eddie's lurking again. He stays down this time. And in fact, Dempster and Mackenzie doing some good work side by side. Mackenzie wrapping up the mark, and he'll go back now to his teammate in Webster.
To Schneider. Tim, the Josh Bruce drop before was exactly what you were talking about, looking to the sun.
Yes.
Shadow's getting longer, and that is exactly where the sun is, where Bruce was looking as Stephen tries to duck and weave away from Van Berlo and McKay. Brings it back in on the left, diving mark up for grabs, almost Nunes. Now Kelly goes searching for Brown. Not quite Webster. The Brown tackle, brilliant. Holding the ball, the call. Crows away. Jake to the outer side. Finds his man, Lynch. Got 3 for the afternoon. Keen to add to it. To Dangerfield. Betts, Cameron and Walker all lurking inside 50. Here's a chance on the lead. Cameron's got 3. Quickly he goes. Doesn't stop to think. Betts is the man. Oh, Eddie.
This is only the 8th time that Adelaide have gone inside their attacking 50, and they've scored 4 goals already. St Kilda at the other end have taken it in 11 times for 1 goal.
There's the mark.
Mods was big in his day, but Eddie's not far behind, sending the crowd into a same sort of fervour. Eddie for 5. Come on, Eddie.
Well, he's kicking 5 on a bad day now, Eddie.
Yeah. So it's a good point. So it was 4 goals won against the Western Bulldogs, 5-3 against Port Adelaide, 5 last week against the Gold Coast, and he's up to 4 already here, and he's going to give it a real shake, isn't he? Just in such explosive form, and Fisher struggling for room. He did well, though, in the end to Armitage. He just held the football a long time. Armitage's handball, not a good one. Weller, lucky. Dunstan was able to negotiate it, coming through Templeton. He went back and got the football. Billings. They tried to work it to Nunes. Stolen by McKay. And they're away again now through Lyons. Towards full forward. Walker just the top of the arm. Here's Eddie for 5. Can he run in? 3 weeks in a row. Eddie Betts. 5, 5 and 5.
It's that goal. There's the miss. There he is. Picks the ball up. Sizes it up. And then just finishes it off. And look at that.
Eddie Betts, he is hot as a pistol right now. 5-1 for the afternoon, and still 7 to play in the 3rd term.
Whenever he goes anywhere near the footy, Eddie Betts, the crowd goes wild. I've never seen a guy get a standing ovation in the 3rd quarter there for snagging goals. They love him here, Eddie Betts.
It was madness comparing to Modra, but even contemplating comparing him to Modra in his heyday shows how well Eddie's going. He's got 5 for the afternoon, went for 6 when they played each other last, the Saints and the Crows, and handballed off to Rutten in his last game. Walker now tries to don't argue, into a bit of space. Where's Eddie? Just look for Eddie. Not coming at the moment. Shenton takes on Charlie Cameron. Just ambles out of half-back. Little handball ends up getting the football back now. Templeton to Dempster. Oh, here we go. Brown. Where's Eddie? Where's Eddie? Not this time. Over the top, Charlie Cameron. He can kick for 4.
Well, it's proving to be a lethal combination this afternoon, the 2 ground level forwards. But St Kilda, as good as Adelaide are when they've got the ball and as constructive as they are, St Kilda at the moment, they just seem to be putting each player that has a disposal into more trouble with each of those disposal, and they're not getting anywhere with their possessions.
So this for 4 goals won, Charlie Cameron offline. Well, searching for Eddie then. He's on the bench. Well, get him out there.
Hey, mate, no, I reckon he could still kick goals from the bench today. He's that hot.
They're still looking for him.
Well, he does kick him from the boundary line, doesn't he? Incidentally, the last player to kick 3 consecutive bags of 5, Kurt Tippett. By then, he was the Sydney Swan. That was in 2013. Weller. They're still under the pump here. Robertson's clearing kick. He needed to sink the slipper into it, and he did. And Jacobs, the back of the pack. Hickey.
I know Adelaide have had a lot of injuries this year, but they've found 2 players, though, too. Jake Kelly and Lever are going to be, I think, 10-year players for the Adelaide Crows. Maybe they're playing them ahead of where they thought they would, but they've both acquitted themselves really well.
It's great optimism, no doubt about that. Ball inside now. Dangerfield had it momentarily. Now Walker. Hard to believe that Walker's not the main act on the forward line At least not this afternoon for the Adelaide Crows. Well done. They fired it out to McKay. It came from Grigg. They work it across to Cheney. That was well done. Crouch was involved, but he was too slow.
We're going to have to run it up here.
Well, nothing forward, Timmy's there. So Stevens saw that, doubled back, ran into trouble. Kelly again, the man putting the pressure on. Laird and Jacobs, well, they tried to combine, didn't quite work out. Hickey, again, it's Bruce dealing with the opponent and the son. Took care of both. Lever not able to dislodge the ball. Bruce, an opportunity to go back and try and kick his fourth.
That's one of the problems I have when you're under the pump like they've been the last sort of 5 or 10 minutes. All the players end up the other end of the ground. When you do break, you've lost your shape and there's no one to actually kick the ball to. So you've got to hold the ball up and wait for something to eventuate.
Yeah, just here.
So Bruce came in equal with Tex with 18. Those 3 for the afternoon. Slow approach. Desperate for it, the Saints. And Josh unable to provide a major or a score at all.
You can see the toll really starting to tell now on the Saints with the 2 guys going down earlier in the match. You see them coming off the ground, Stephen, Robertson, Billings. When they're coming off, they are absolutely spent. They need to make sure they stay focused, try and keep in this game and compete so it doesn't blow out.
So Jacobs then with the clearing kick. Longer was up in front. It was a clever flick behind the pack, but it won't get any distance on it. And Mackenzie just helps the ball over the line. So 43 points is the Adelaide Crows lead. And we've got 4.5 to play in this third term. It was 19 points. At half-time, they've been dominant. Again, Jacobs, that was brilliant, but Armitage read it well. He tried to get the ball across to Mackenzie. Van Berlo read it very well. Walker clever to Thompson. Now, well, I was going to say they're away, but not quite. They're just held up by Nunes across half-back. Then the ball quickly swatted forward. Robertson's kick. Read well by McKay. Now Grigg finds the ball on the wing for Van Berlo. Backwards to Kelly. Talia off half-back. Kick not ideal. And Longer up and takes a good mark.
Nunes through the middle. Kick had to be good. Was to Armitage. Bruce or Hickey or bust forward of the ball. So laterally to Delaney.
This is the real difference, isn't it? When Adelaide would have the ball in that position that St Kilda found themselves in, they would then just put the foot down and they'd be going to players in space all over the place and actually getting the ball inside their 50 really quickly, whereas St Kilda had to go laterally
back around now
to the other side of the ground to try and construct some sort of a forward movement.
So Templeton, if you've just joined us, the late in for Montagna, the little give. Well, a chance, Shenton. Late in for Geary. Jacobs, right spot, couldn't quite savage. A half opportunity. Amounts to not much for him, but Bruce, he had almost 0 opportunity, ends in a major. His 4th.
I mean, it wasn't the perfect construction of the goal, but in the end, it was just opportunistic from there, from Bruce to pick up the ball, and he's been a lively forward.
Yeah, he sure has. So 4 goals for Bruce. He's had a haul of 5 and a haul of 6 this season. He's been a potent avenue towards goal. Armitage got the ball moving forward, but Dangerfield got in the road, and out to Grigg he goes. A little give off the back of the square. That was good work, and Dangerfield's kick just had too much onto it. Out of bounds on the full. Not surprisingly, he was looking for Eddie. Aren't we all?
Not often you see this. Player's got to go through the picket fence, go down, grab his football.
Haven't seen that since probably the MCG construction of the new stand.
So Sean Dempster. Well, sometimes you do get your own footy, and that was an example of it. Luke Delaney in the Eddie Betts pocket, squeezes one short. Armitage, who continues to run hard into Van Berlo. Armitage, 25 disposals. That last one, not the best of them, but he's certainly tried his heart out. And he really is a leader now for St Kilda, isn't he, in every sense of the word?
No, he works hard. Nobody on the ground has had more disposals than he's had right now.
Battle of the big men. The winner, Eddie Betts. He was shadowed.
Tim, funny you talk about that construction at the MCG. We played there quite a few times when that was under construction. I'll tell you what, those guys working there have probably opened up a football shop, because that many went over there and never come back. I'm sure they'll be selling a few out the back door.
So Eddie, the last Crow to kick 3 times in a row was Jarman in '99. He's joining good company, isn't he?
Let it go. Exquisite company.
The only other Crow in the history of the club, Tony Modra. So Jarman and Modra, and now Betts. Bouncing ball for Lions, works out favourably.
Your kick. How do you think the Blues are feeling about their decision not to match the money now? Are you familiar with the term indigestion?
Hold there.
I've got a one-word reply. Ouch. So Delaney drifting forward.
50 metres,
Another
you're
50.
straight over the mark.
There's been a few today. We saw a few last week as well on Saturday afternoon football. I wonder if it's a Saturday thing or an instruction from the umpires to take control once again. Delaney short. Schneider on the end of it, lurking in the shadows. Templeton now, he runs to just outside 50. Bruce would be the target. Hecky comes with a big fly. Couldn't quite get it. Van Berlo just gives the football away. Kicked around the corner. Yeah, it was bad luck from Sinclair. He roved it so well, but he just couldn't finish off.
They're those 50-50 type opportunities that St Kilda need to take. Templeton did well there, snuck on off the bench to create that outnumber, but they just really need to make the most of those small chances they're getting, St Kilda.
Henderson's got either Walker or Lynch. Enough Saints to bring the ball to ground. Fisher just had to off a step, put it to dangerous territory, but led again. He plays a lot taller often than his actual stature. He's been terrific again. And he sets the Crows away. Jacobs finds some space on the outer side. Could be the Lions. Cameron or Betts. Well, Cameron almost. A 360 in the air. And time now to go and win the football for Webster. Not able to do it without a bit of pressure. They keep control of the footy. Billings. Back it comes. Armitage. With a run through. Billings fumble. Time. Nunes at half back. A minute to play in the third. Crows by 6 goals. Saints have been on the back foot since halfway through the first.
Thanks, Kyle. That's it, Kyle.
Fisher, a weary servant of the Saints. Looked for a long time like he wouldn't get to 200.
Push. St Kilda.
Going 205 today. Back it comes.
Thanks much there, Luke. Out, Matty, out.
Jim McKay's been a good player for Adelaide this afternoon too, hasn't he?
So McKenzie, game 3, backs himself. They retreat again, but well, here's a chance. Eddie's lurking. Dempster's in trouble. He tries to get rid of it.
That makes you nervous, doesn't it? He's about to pounce on you to a bumbling ball.
Even Curtis DuBois, the umpire. Thanks, Eddie. Everyone loves Eddie.
Eddie's at the right end. Is it Eddie's time again? McKenzie holding the ball. That's a new interpretation, doesn't it? You get prior opportunity, a chance to dispose of the ball. You don't take it, you get caught,
Guys,
get done.
clear out. Everyone who's not on the mark, clear
There's
out.
his chance to get rid of the ball. Good tackle there by Dangerfield, not coming out of that tackle.
Guys, 2 metres on the side, Jack.
So 22 seconds left on the clock, and number 32 has it for the Adelaide Crows.
Adam, stay out, please.
8 touches this quarter for Patrick Dangerfield. Hasn't kicked a goal.
That's 15, Patrick.
And he's going to kick, I reckon, after the siren. It'll be his 17th disposal for a 42-point lead directly in front. And it's a nice way to end the term for the Adelaide Crows. Dominant again in that quarter. St Kilda showed something, but Adelaide 6 goals in the second term and 6-3 in that third quarter. 6-3 to 2-4, and they lead it by 42 points. Adelaide 15-6 and Kilda 7-12. Start of the final term on what has been a glorious day weather-wise at the Adelaide Oval.
And Eddie Betts, fantastic. 5 goals, 1 to three-quarter time.
So Crows by 42 as the last term gets underway, and Dangerfield, who kicked the last of the third, goes searching. Lynch, he's had a big afternoon already. Can he add to that? Lynch to start the fourth perfectly. Starts imperfectly.
And when you hear a coach say we're not going to get any better unless we get stronger at the contest, you know what the message has been at three-quarter time, what he's looking for in the last quarter.
Wait for the call, though.
So Dempster with nothing really that would excite him forward of the ball. I just keep thinking about Nick Riewoldt, Tim. I mean, I know we say how concerned we are, but these players are so fragile, and what we see them do each week should be applauded. And again, to Catherine and all the family, if we hear anything, we'll let you know. But right now, he's in good hands. He is conscious.
He's such a measured coach, Alan Richardson. I spent a lot of time with him when he was an assistant at Essendon. He doesn't rant and rave, and but he gets his message across. He's a great teacher, and he gets inside guys' heads without having to yell and scream like we see a lot of other coaches have to do.
Jacobs, he's done a power of work, hasn't he? He's been quite superb. He won that hit out down, sharked cleverly by Armitage. Now Cheney in the middle of the ground. He finds the footy first, and the kick is very good. Well done, Grigg. Now Lynch is on here. He lost his man. The kick didn't come. Grigg now with a long kick. Walker's the target. He came with a bit of a fly. Eddie Betts lurking. Ball handballed Longer's way. Nunes. Good handball from McKenzie on the ground. And the kick towards half-back. That's not the best effort. And it's gone out of bounds on the full from Roberton.
Play on. Mate.
Cheney happy to retreat. Jake Lever, game 2.
He's been good again, hasn't he, Hammer?
Yep. 19-year-old from Ronzi has started to win applause.
He shows some real talent. He puts another 5 or 10 kilos on the bone over the next couple of years. Gets really strong. He's going to be a really difficult opponent to play against.
And to Killian, back again. You like the look of Jake too, don't you?
I do, yeah, and I think he's going to be a long-term player for the Adelaide Crows.
Yours.
Well, a quick turnover, and Shenton has got a bit to do. A couple of Crows to beat, nothing forward. So, gets a reprieve and 50.
So that's the application of the 50 that they were calling for early in the game. This is the handball, and then holding on. Oh, sorry, that's the handball.
I think, though, it was against Jake. I think Jake thought it was holding the ball and played on quickly.
Yeah. No, you're right.
1 metre around.
So Cam Shenton is a local ball. Jake, like his old man, happy to have a debate. Meanwhile, Cam Shenton, he kicks the one they desperately need. So back to 6 goals.
Another 50-metre penalty. That's 8 for the game. 5 of them St Kilda's way. 3 of them for the Adelaide Crows.
You old romantic, you, Basil.
King of the world, they were the days. Stephen. Jack, that was, not me. Off the front of the boat. Dunstan wrapped up by Dangerfield. It's going to be hard to get out of there, and up it will come again.
Thanks, boys. Thanks, mate. Cheers. Come back this way. Thank you. Come on, boys, meet up.
Very chirpy. Umpire Jason Armstrong. Swatted down brilliantly. Jacobs. Taken high. Thompson. Worked it to Laird. Now across to Crouch, who sends the ball forward to Eddie Betts. He's so explosive. That turn was magnificent. The kick to Lynch even better. Well, he is going through a purple patch, isn't he? Everything he does at the moment, Tim, is exquisite.
He's just a joy to watch, isn't he? Like, here he is, he extricates himself from a difficult situation. He looked, he knew exactly where he wanted to place that ball, even before Lynch started to move to that space.
So Lynch had 8 goals before today. He's kicked 3, so kicking for his 4th. And it's just offline. He started it skinny and it stayed skinny. You do get the feeling, don't you, that Eddie might just turn it on here in this final term.
He's in career best form. He's kicked 25 now in the first 7 weeks.
Don't go forward.
The previous best was 19 in the first 7. That was back in 2009. He's coming off his career best year of 51. He looks set to smash that. Templeton, not able to really get a run at it in the end. Took the ball in the air and got brought to ground quickly by McKay.
They've got such a great understanding, the forward line of Adelaide with Betts, Walker. They know once they get it around half forward, just to move it. And as soon as they turn around, they got one of their teammates leading into their eyes, which is a lot easier for the kicker.
Well, Dangerfield almost clever enough to flick it up to Lyons.
I mean, the best way to stop Eddie is to slow the ball down at the other end of the ground. But the way they've been able to rebound on St Kilda, it's made it so much easier for the Adelaide forwards to actually find some space and operate in.
He has been a pleasure to watch, Eddie, this afternoon. In fact, he's been the real highlight in an otherwise pretty sombre day in many ways. Jacobs to the top of the square. Eddie! Not quite. Dempster did what he needed to do, and Webster provided just a little bit of support. Nunes back inside. Now Shenton, who kicked the first goal of this term for the Saints, swings it wide, and this is where it gets a little tricky.
Jacobs has been outstanding too. He's had 31 hit-outs this afternoon, been the lone ruckman against Hickey and also Longer. And 10 of those have gone to advantage too, so he's been actually able to direct the ball to the ground-level players, which has been a real advantage for them.
Oh, here's trouble, real trouble, although Dempster got to his feet. The kick was affected badly right. He gives it to Eddie. What about 6, Eddie? What about half a dozen? Oh, not quite. And a smile from on the deck into the post in the end.
Blue dot, Ronnie. Thank you.
Oh, the kicking again, not good. So they're having some really poor moments. St Kilda, McKenzie. That one better, and Stephen uses Fisher, and they kick down the line to Bruce.
Well, Bruce thought about tracking on, realised he'd run himself into trouble and aground, and came back into play. So Bruce has had another solid outing, 4 goals, 1. Robin into a man with time for now, but Cameron will make sure he's under pressure when he kicks quickly on. Sinclair, one of the 5 jacks that Richardson has up his sleeve. Quickly to space. Dunstan closed in quickly. Lever did a good job. Well, Crouch, brilliant really to McKay, then quickly to Lyons. Lost it. Eddie, both ends of the ground. That was lightning quick from Eddie Betts. Robertson, a little bit of a throw. Allowance from the umpire. Compassionate perhaps. Shenton finds his man in Schneider.
Hold there. Move it on, play on.
Well, Robin will get held up by Thompson. Just back to Jacobs, Tim, coming to this game, 213 of a possible 219 hit-outs for the Crows. From Source, a Savage get to the right spot at the right time, and should be able to go and kick another for the Saints and make it back-to-back goals to start this final term. 213 of 219 hit-outs to Source Jacobs. And he's now 244 of 253. It has been single-handed ruck work. Well done, Savage. Back-to-back goals for the Saints. Gap now 32.
See Brodie Smith in the red there on the right with a hand near the head. He's off with concussion, and just on the left of screen there behind the doctor, Andrew Potter, you can see Matty Jensch. Now, there is suspected that he has done his ACL. Of course, he's been plagued by injuries. Back in 2011, it was a shoulder. 2012, a groin injury that led to an operation that's caused all sorts of issues. So it doesn't look good for Matt Jensch. Of course, scans will confirm that during the week.
Thanks, Sodas. Yeah, it's been a terrible day with injury and illness. Even withdrawals before the game started. Jensch, Smith, Loney and Revolt, 2 apiece out of the game, and out of the game for a significant proportion of it. Ball now down in the Bruce direction. Very good grab in the fingertips. Really well done. He's kicked forward. Dunstan's quick kick was terrific. And now he'll just slow things down and go back. Calculate the angles in his head. And kick for a bag of 5. Swings it around. He's kicked it. Terrific effort from there.
Just really impressed with this bloke. Bruce Talia has actually gone on to him since Nick Revolt went off the ground, so he's had an excellent afternoon.
So Betts 5-2 for the afternoon, Bruce 5-1, and suddenly it's just a 26-point margin. Got out to 42 after the Dangerfield goal to finish the third. Lynch will be happy to absorb some of the clock, works it back inside. Henderson in for Sloane this week. Rory in the stands watching on, told the fractured cheekbone and operation went as well as possibly could have been expected. So let's hope Rory's back wearing the tricolours soon.
Thanks, Adam. That's your mark. Me. Thanks, Sam. That's your mark.
This is pretty good play by St Kilda, just forcing the Crows to second-guess their kick. They're just going after it, so good concentration. This is the one they've got to watch out for, the one out the back.
Well, Laird went to take on Billings, just got held up. Lynch backtracks a little, moonwalks, Hickey grabs him, might get done, well done, got away with it in the end. McKay, industrious, goes searching for the footy again.
The ball! St Kilda! Both locking it in.
Maybe. They've kicked 3 in a row, the Saints. Can they work away through all this and kick 4 to narrow the gap? To bring it back to 20 points, no one at home. A man down and fighting on the Saints. It has been a long and brutal afternoon. It's become somewhat a war of attrition. They've been a man down for the best part of 3 terms.
What do you think, Tim? Last 3 for the Saints. Another one here. Just makes it a little bit interesting. We know they're fast finishers.
It's been a hard-running game for them defensively. They've had to work really hard to even try and get back into this game. I think it's a bit too much to expect that they're going to come over the top and defeat Adelaide now.
And 2 players down for so much of it, but they've been resilient. It's been an admirable performance considering the numbers have been down. Well done, Charlie Cameron. That was a beautiful move through. The ball ends up with Thompson. He got it from Crouch. And now the ball on the wing. Kicked forward by Wright. Eddie Betts trying to get in and underneath Dempster. Well, he got in the end anyway. His quick kick forward inside 50. It needs to sit nicely for Walker. Delaney, well, he's pulled that back in. Didn't matter because Walker took the football away with strength. Lyons back to Wright. Lyons again close to the boundary line. Tough here for Cameron. Not a lot of space to work with. And in the end, just across the face and a behind.
Even that kick forward then by Eddie Betts, he tried to put the forward tumble on the ball. He actually wasn't able to get it to where he wanted to, but he thought if he gets the forward tumble, it might actually bounce over the St Kilda defender's head into Taylor Walker's hands.
High football IQ, isn't it?
He's just always thinking.
Over the mark, cribbed it by 3 metres.
That's 9 50s now, Home.
It's 50. It's 50.
Actually, they'll win the metres gained this afternoon, the umpires.
It's the world record.
There it is.
Actually, short 50.
Well, Webster didn't use it, did he? But he was happy just to move it on to Nunes. Now, if the Saints can find another now, it is highly unlikely, but suddenly the last 10 minutes would get a little uneasy for Crows supporters. Shenton runs into a wall.
Straight up, boys. Straight up now.
There's the opportunity. Doesn't take it. Gets caught in the tackle. Correct decision by the umpire.
Basil, you're right, though. They really have been resilient, the Saints. You can see there, they're even still trying to take the game on. They've lost some leaders early on in the game, even a couple before the game even started. So they will be taking a lot out of the way they've been able to stay in this match, a few players down, and really fight it out.
Little Ned Kelly, disposal 19 for the afternoon. Starting to blossom at halfback, really. He's spent a year in the SNFL and thoroughly enjoying his time on the big stage. Brown to Jacobs. Hurried ball forward. Eddie's going to be at the fall of the ball. Tough in the shadows, particularly in the end for Webster. Clever kick over the top. Cameron to Betts. This might be the best duel you've ever seen. Cameron to Betts. Cameron wanted it back. Might get it back here. Does. Can he kick 4? He's bending. Hit back. It's a nice little double act for Cameron Betts.
He's getting better and better with every game, that bloke too.
Yeah.
Well, Eddie was one of the 3 amigos, wasn't he, at Carlton? It's a dynamic duo here on the forward line for the Adelaide Crows. And again, real pressure applied by Cheney. Ball not coming out of there.
Just have a look at Eddie here. Just bounces it like a basketball there to control it the first time round.
It wasn't far away either, the shot from Cameron. So Eddie with 5-2, Cameron 3-4 and Lynch 3-1. They've had a day out, the forwards. Savage's kick. Well done by Bruce. He trapped that brilliantly. Then he turned around and looked for the trouble. Kelly was the man causing the trouble, but he's still got his kick away, Bruce. Interesting now, Hickey. Footy bounces into his hands. Well done, big man. He bends the ball back. He needs a lucky bounce. He doesn't get it.
Didn't he show something there for a big man?
That was very clever.
That's great trapping there by Bruce, though, too. And then just getting the kick away, just keeping it alive. But that was outstanding play then by Hickey.
Just back to the double act at the other end of the ground. Cameron and Betts, they've kicked 8 between them, 14 scoring shots between them. They're going to trouble some defensive units in the weeks ahead. Picked up by Grigg, backed himself. Fisher, the tackler. Webster ends up with a football. Continues to play on quickly. Webster, he wants the left every time, finds it and finds Sinclair. They've kicked the last 3, the Saints, and 4 of the last 5. Just to make it 4 in a row. Sinclair, you'd think within range.
Adelaide just 4 behinds this term home.
He gets very close to the man on the mark. It's just going to fall short. Jacobs, well, by plan or luck, it worked out beautifully, and suddenly the Crows are out of the danger zone and potentially about to get on the offensive.
They're doing much better to St Kilda at being able to hold them at this position on the ground.
So Laird, he held the football a long time. Good mark by Cameron. Heard former Crows captain Mark Bickley say his spot in this team in question coming into this afternoon. He really did need to fight hard. Lynch has fought well as well. Kick now for Dangerfield inside 50. Did well, Dangerfield. Handball's back into an attacking area. Walker's there. Here's Eddie. Eddie, what about the flick away handball? That was significant. Lyons ends up with a football down towards Walker. It came from Grigg and it gets to Eddie. And Eddie has kicked.
I believe it's a goal. Can we just check if it hit the post? Score review. Umpire's call is a goal. Please check if the ball hit the post.
Review underway.
Sweating on this for 6.
You can't change it on that, Vince.
He hasn't kicked 6 as a Crow.
He's a moral.
Review completed. Confirm goal.
It's a goal. Eddie's got half a dozen.
Well, here's the first bit of play here. Just watch this, the way that he just flicks it out the back. Okay, keeps the ball alive, and then he follows up again. He is going to be a handful for any defender in this competition.
26 for the season, 6 for the afternoon. 6-2, in fact. Webster over the top of Lyons. The Saints have been brave, but you sort of felt that it was the Crows from halfway through that first term when that early surge of the Saints was matched by 3 late goals to the Crows, and when Nick Revolt went down and Loney was already being tested for concussion, it had the look about it that it was going to be a tough and long old afternoon. Can the Crows add to the 33-point lead? The Saints have kicked 3 of the last 4, and they've had to do a lot of high-pressure defending this time. Neatly to Armitage and over the top. They've got some numbers through the middle here, nothing really forward, so they're going to have to continue to run with the football. Dunstan, he knows that. Long ball, Hickey's dropped in, he's got the height. Well, Lever tries to wrench it away from Hickey. Lever desperate the second. The ball bobs out the back. Another youngster just helps out with an old head in McKay, with an old skipper in Van Berlo, and again out of trouble.
Talking about another older player as well, Scotty Thompson, the 30 disposals today. A lot of the young guys have really stood up, but just amazes week after week. He just continues to lead the way for the younger Crows.
So Lyons called to go well. She goes towards Van Berlo. Not quite. He just spilt the mark. One of 3 Van Berlo brothers playing today. His younger brothers Jay and Mitchell both playing for West Perth in the WAFL. Special day for the Van Berlo family to have them all out there on the one day in 2 different states, 2 different teams. So the ball off the deck inside 50 and over the footy. Kelly. It's been cool, hasn't he? Cheney fended off well. Now they can run the ball towards midfield. Thompson's got it. Disposal number 31. Awkward one for Grigg. It just didn't sit. Now Templeton comes in. Grigg got him and the ball will come up again.
Thanks, boys. Thanks, mate. Jeez.
Oh, again, all very polite down there. Adelaide by 33 points. With 5:19 to play. Nunes ridden into the ground. And we'll go again home.
Eddie's searching for a career best of 80. Kick that as a blue against the Bombers. And just again, I know we feel like we're saying what we've already said, but no further news on Nick Riewoldt in the hospital after being concussed, but he is conscious, and we've got no further update. Van Berlo runs into a wall in the form of Longer, and then long to Lynch. Where's Eddie? He's in the goal square. Quickly, Tommy. Well, Lynch is searching for goals himself, but the crowd wants Eddie to have 7. So this for 4, and to extend it to a 39-point lead. He's a pretty neat set shot. Tom Lynch gets close again. Now, where is Eddie? That's where the eyes go. No score. So 43,500 have enjoyed what they've seen, and they've enjoyed Eddie for the best part of the afternoon.
Have a look at that kick from Dangerfield there, coming out of congestion. Wasn't that a brilliantly weighted kick?
Dempster with Eddie Betts with him every step of the way. Dangerfield over the top. Savage got his hands on the football first. Laird, Thompson ends up with Charlie Cameron. That was really swift work. The hands were really quick, weren't they? Then the clearing kick from McKenzie, going back, taking the good mark, Talia.
Yeah, no, stay there, mate, stay there.
So it'll come in again. He's in that sort of form, Tim, isn't he, Eddie Betts? Almost every time he touches the ball, something amazing happens.
Well, it does to the crowd as well every time he goes near it.
Well, Dangerfield might be up there. That was a good mark. McKenzie, and eyes only for the football. He handballs off to Savage. Into the sun when he kicks. Not easy. Beat a few players there. Dunstan was one of them, waiting down McKay. Now Grigg. Handball forward again. Talia's done well. Thompson. McKay followed up. Good work. Walker on the lead. Strong hands.
2 metres, mate.
Probably right on his distance here.
Thank you.
Maybe a little bit tired.
He's on the mark, Taylor.
Late in the 4th quarter, but early in the game, no problem at all for him from a distance like this.
What about the kick from McKay there? They're the ones that full forwards love leading out. Those type of players who hit them lace out every time.
So Walker with 2 for the afternoon. It's a long, strong boot right to the line, and Hickey just walks it over.
Just looking at Scotty Thompson, he had 33 disposal. David Armitage 30. I thought those two would sort of go head to head in this game. Probably the thing that splits them, and I think Thompson has been a better player for Adelaide than probably Armitage has been. That's just been their disposal efficiency.
Well, Eddie, he started all this. Can he finish with another? Charlie Cameron might be able to. Crouch stops Armitage, ducks his head, runs into trouble. Eddie tries to steal. You feel whoever's writing the script has another Eddie moment.
Well, they're leaving it late. There's only 2:52 left.
Crouch, Thompson, little one to Grigg. He's already got one. Well, he's got another.
The Crows will improve to 5-2 after their win today, and here's what they've got to come.
Well, there's a couple of toughies over the next couple of weeks, isn't it? When you look at Giants on the road, they've got to play. That's always going to be a tough game.
Carlton, the last of them before the bye. I reckon Eddie Betts might be looking forward to that one. Dangerfield, brilliantly done again by Jacobs. He has been outstanding today. Grigg, whose kick was affected. Eddie in the pocket. It just bobbled away.
Some weary players out there now going down with cramp. It's been an exhaustive sort of a game. This game's been played at real pace there. He just might have hurt his shoulder there too in that crash into the ground.
So the last thing he would want, Fisher obviously up in front. Grigg over the footy and ball over the line.
And for a lot of this game, both sides have been down just to 2 rotations too, Basil. So that's put extra pressure on their running abilities. They're the matches to come over the next 4 weeks for the Saints. The Eagles, Lions, Hawks and Melbourne. A couple of those, winnable for this side.
Yeah, for sure. And they've shown a bit today, as we've said. Showed plenty last week. Thompson, Brown got his kick away just in time. And nest of Saints, and Hickey goes back and takes a good mark. Jacobs has been outstanding though, hasn't he?
Unbelievable again, yeah. And to think that he's done it on his own again too, Basil.
In all Australian form, isn't he? Goldstein last week, we saw him. Tim, you saw him last night. And Jacobs, the form big men of the competition. Sinclair gets the footy. Kick to the middle, Lions. Knocking away from Savage. Savage, good recovery. Shenton just keeps the ball low. That was clever. Knocked on by McKenzie. Over the line, 1:33 to play. Well, it's been a big afternoon down there for both of you, and both teams exhausting, really.
Yeah, it has, Baz. It was a very physical game, what we would have expected from two coaches who really demand their players to put their body on the line every time. Obviously, the big one coming out of it is Nick Riewoldt, and let's hope everything is okay with him, as we spoke about a number of times. He's at hospital getting scanned, so we can all hope for fingers crossed, but definitely a physical game, one of the type of matches that we would have expected, as I said, from these two clubs.
And so does 5-2. That's good going from the Crows. The town will be up and about again. Good on you, Mark. Mark Soderstrom down there on the boundary. So Adelaide by 40 points, 17-11. Eddie Betts with 6-2 and Cameron 3-4. What a double act it's been. We shouldn't forget Lynch with 3-1. Hickey over the top of Jacobs. Now bending down longer to try and pick the football up, and Dangerfield wrestles the ball to the ground. They top 4 team, Adelaide, Tim? You've got them in the 8, I reckon, but top 4?
No, not convinced they're at top 4 yet, Basil, no.
Okay. Certainly improving all the time, and Walker taken high, but the ball was out of bounds, so which one came first?
At their best, with all their players available.
So the high tackle came first, and against Delaney. So the skipper with 2 for the afternoon. Final minute of the game. Again, right on his distance. He gives it a ride. It's a strong, powerful and straight kick. Big Tex with 3, and Adelaide lead by 46 points.
So all their forwards have been really productive. If you look at the goals, Cameron's kicked 3, Lynch has kicked 3, Eddie's had 6 kicked today, Walker's kicked 3. So their 4 forwards have all contributed in a really meaningful way, and they've been a handful for the St Kilda defence. But I think a lot of the problems have been further up the field, where they've just been able to run and carry and share way too much, and it's put enormous pressure on their defensive part of their game.
Well, they're really dangerous, aren't they, with their forwards producing that sort of output. Betts 6, Cameron 3, Lynch 3, and now Walker 3 as well. Is there time for one more at the other end? Stephen through the hands of Bruce. Talia did well. He was right there. He kicks towards the boundary line. Intelligent football, and now the ball is over.
Thank you.
So final 20 seconds of this game. In a game where I think everybody was a little flat after quarter time following the injury to Nick Riewoldt. And considering St Kilda have done a terrific job just hanging in there.
Yeah, and there's going to be inconsistencies with a young group of players like this, and the coach knows that. He's just going to have to ride that out from week to week.
Play on.
So Weller with a footy. A little kick away. Lions, is there time for a mark? There is, but into the hands of Cameron Shenton. So well done, Adelaide, on a day that may well be remembered for the very heavy injury suffered by Nick Riewoldt. We wish him all the best. Adelaide by 46 points. They improved their season to 5-2. The really